So I'm going to explain how to control the size of your labels as they're displayed in your drawing. So by default, labels are going to scale themselves according to the drawing scale that's set down here. So for instance, now we're set at 1/8. If I switch to a quarter scale and regen my drawing, you'll see that these both items scaled. Now they're both going to be scaled for this reason. If we go into our Style Manager and go to our label curve styles, because again these labels are actually technically called a label curve, we've used both standard and standard duct as you see here. So I labeled it here, but if we select the label, you'll see that this one is standard. If we select this one, you'll see that this is standard duct. So if I go back into my Style Manager and check out these label curve styles, both standard and standard duct are set to use the Roman S text style. So let's go check out the Roman S text style. So we go in here to our text style, and we see that Roman S is defined with a 0 height. So any text style that's defined with a 0 height is going to be scaled according to this scale and what's called the annotation plot scale. So what it's going to do, the program will try and produce a scaling so that the text height is always this height when plotted. So that's what you're setting down here, is the actual scale that you're going to be creating, setting your viewport to when you go ahead and plot it there. So it's a combination of that value and this value that's going to decide how large this ends up. But if we want to go ahead and override this functionality, what we're going to want to do is set our text style to a definite value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new text style. I'm just going to call this test. And I'm going to set the height to 1 foot. And we're going to use Roman S anyway, so it's going to look the same. But this is a definite style, so it will override the scaling functionality. So if I go ahead and let's go ahead into our label, and I set my standard duct to use this new test style, you'll see that this is a definite size. Now if I go ahead and I change my scale here, you'll see that these changed, but this did not. And the reason why that did not was because it's using a text style that has a definite size. Now if I go ahead and switch it back here to 1/32, you'll see that my labels all of a sudden got big, but these stayed the same.